here at the Business Startup Show. It's day 2. We've got with us to have a little chat about his services, Paul Weller from Hexetech. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Now, tell us about what you guys actually do.
Okay, well, basically we're the Panasonic distributor in the UK for their electronic point of sale systems. Okay, we distribute through a reseller database, so we have resellers appointed as Panasonic resellers around the UK, and they're strategically placed geographically so that we can support the whole of the UK. And what we also do is provide those resellers with other hardware that's essential to EPOS, such as cash drawers, printers, scanners and other associated peripherals, so they basically can come to us for a one-stop shop.
Okay, so if I'm a retail business, why should I come to you rather than another EPOS supplier?
Well, basically, if you're a retailer, you wouldn't actually necessarily come to me for the install, because I'm the distributor for Panasonic.
Right.
The reason we're here at the show is to actually let the people know that we're available here to talk to, so that we can actually recommend a reseller for them. Okay, so whilst we could be their first port of call, what is important to emphasise is the fact that we will try to gauge exactly what that retailer is looking for with regards to their EPOS solution.
Right.
Yeah, and then match them with the perfect reseller. Okay, because we have resellers that specialise in different areas. Okay, so we've got guys that just do bike shops. Yeah, some guys that specialise in cake shops, and other people that do generic retail. Okay, so it's important that people understand that they can come to us, they can get exactly what they want from one of the resellers, but what we can do is tailor make their requirement to the appropriate reseller.
And we know that there's so many different types of businesses. It's not one size fits all.
Exactly. Everyone's got their own requirements. Some people just require their product to take money. Yeah, that's all they're interested in. Yeah. Some people are really, really, really good businessmen. Yeah, and see that the electronic point of sale equipment is a management tool. Okay, so used correctly, it can tell you your stock at any one time. It can tell you what shelf it's on. It can tell you how much backup stock you've got in a different location. It can link your your e-commerce site to your EPOS system, so you don't accidentally sell 3 online and 3 in the shop when you've only actually got 3 available. The reporting is a useful tool. Okay, so some people aren't that bothered about reporting, but other people are very keen to know simple facts like, do I sell my chocolate muffins more between 11 and 12? But I suddenly don't sell them between 3 and 4. So why have I got chocolate muffins, going in a case between 3 and 4? I should just remove them at 12. And keep them fresh for the next day. Okay. There's so many different aspects, and it's important for people to effectively write a wish list, of what they want their software to do, and importantly, not just now, but for the future. Because this is a piece of equipment that's going to be written off over 3 to 5 years in normal scenarios. So, you make the wrong decision now, and it's going to cost you in the long term.
What should a customer be looking for in an EPOS solution?
Okay, well, there's 2 main parts to an EPOS solution. You've got the hardware, and you've got the software. Now, we've sort of briefly touched on the hardware, but with regards to the hardware, it's not just the terminal. There's the associated peripherals. So, whilst it's important for us to promote the quality and reliability of the terminal, it's also important to remember that things are added onto that. So they need to look at the manufacturing quality of the cash drawer, of the receipt printer, of the kitchen printer, of the handheld scanner, the customer display. Because at the end of the day, if any of that hardware fails, then that's downtime. Okay, not just the terminal.
And there's a lineup of customers. So
you got it. So you're not taking money. It all affects the bottom line. The other part, which obviously is very, very important, is the software, and it comes in sort of 3 different areas, because you start off with the operating system. Everyone ignores the operating system, but it can actually make a difference to where you go in the future. Operating systems start with as little as like CE, which is a real cut down version of an OS. Okay, and that's the sort of thing you find
for people who don't
operating system. Sorry. And it's the sort of thing you might find on your smartphone. Okay, so it does just enough. Okay, that suits quite a few people's needs, but it might not necessarily suit yours. Okay, so you need to ask the right questions. The next stage of operating systems is the embedded systems, which are like a cut-down version of a full OS. They do just about all the functionality of a full OS, but they might not be able to do things like do their email. Because it's important to remember that an electronic point of sale system is basically a computer. So if you put the right operating system on there, it would act like a computer. Okay, which leads me to the third part of the operating systems, which are full OS's operating systems. So you can have like XP Pro and Windows 7, things that people are probably more familiar with.
Sure.
Okay, those are literally full OS systems, which means that your electronic point of sale terminal can actually operate as a PC, and therefore, if you wanted your electronic point of sale to be able to access email, to play music, etc., then you could do that, but you'd need to have a full OS. So you need to make sure that when you're talking to your reseller, that you emphasise, yes, I want to be able to do that.
Sure.
But at the same time, also consider the fact you might want to put restrictions in place, because you don't really want your staff, who's supposed to be serving customers, accessing Facebook, in busy queue times. And if you want your EPOS solution to do that, it could actually do that. Okay, so you have to think carefully. Okay, then we move on to the point of sale software, the actual software that you touch, which is the bit that everyone wants to jump to. Okay, but it is important to build up to it. The point of sale software, is very, very important, because you need to be able to determine and say to your reseller, your chosen reseller, or when you're speaking to us, and say, okay, I want my software to do this, 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 and this. I want to have table plans. I want to make sure that I can have 2 floors. I want to be able to run a bill against this table plan. I want to, like I mentioned before, link my e-commerce site to it. I want to be able to run stock control. I want it to be able to do barcode label printing for my shelf. I want to be able to have customer security logins like fingerprints or Dallas keys or magstripe readers.
There's so much to think about.
There is so much. So you need to make sure the software is capable of that. You might want to link your CCTV to the EPOS solution. So make sure that your reseller is capable of doing that. You might want to run customer loyalty schemes, which are all becoming very, very popular now. Make sure that it's going to be able to do that. The key is not just what do I want it to do now. I'm just starting my new business. I want to be able to take money. You need to say, but in a year's time, I want to be able to do this and I want to be able to do that. The fact is, as I mentioned previously, 3 to 5 years is a normal write-off period. So therefore, if you think in 3 years' time you're going to be doing X, Y, Z, make sure that the software that you put on and the hardware that you choose is capable of supporting that choice later on.
There's a lot to think about. Where can you, do you guys offer information to help people make their decisions?
They can come to us. Even though we're a distributor, we like to think of ourselves as the first port of call.
Sure.
Now, the simple fact is we do not sell to the end user and install. We don't jump in a van and take the EPOS solutions down and do the install. But what we do like to do is be there for the customer all the way through. Because if we're the first port of call, they get to know us, they begin to trust us. Then suddenly we go and ask them to speak to somebody else. We're there to hold their hand through the whole process, which means even if they suddenly have a question to the reseller and they don't believe they're getting the right answer, they can pick the phone up and say, I keep asking him this question and he's not telling me, can you tell me? And if we don't know the answer, we'll go and find out from that reseller and say, we need to know this answer. They're concerned. Likewise, Panasonic are fantastic at supporting us. So even if we don't have the answer, or they want to be able to do something slightly different, we've got the support of Panasonic's technical team and their customer support team to fall back on as well. So the customer not only gets the support, the local support from their reseller, they get the backup of the distributor and the manufacturer.
And when you're starting a business or you're trying to grow your small business, you've got so many things to think about.
Exactly.
Having that helping hand must be a real
Exactly,
advantage.
you're there to hold their hand. It is a nervous time, and it's a big. Let's not kid it. It's a big expense, But if done correctly, it's a big expense which can actually improve your bottom line. The reporting that these things can do for you can tell you absolutely everything you need them to. So therefore, when you're doing it, you need to look at it as an investment in the future.
Sure.
An investment that's going to give you a return of your investment. At the quickest possible rate.
Now, why should we go for Panasonic rather than another brand?
Well, that's simply answered with quality, service and reliability. The Panasonics are used in the harshest environments. Many a big named quick service restaurant use them. And as we all know, if we're queuing up for the old quick service restaurants now, they're battering those tills constantly. They use 724. And yet they have a mean time before failure of 8 years. Now, if they use the Panasonic, what that basically means is the hardware is installed, and it does not fail. So there is no downtime. We touched on it briefly. So you were spot on before when you said if it's not working, we're not taking money. You need to be able to have the reliability and the quality and the performance of a terminal that once it's in, you can forget about it. Backed up with the support that a reseller can give and that we can give, which include long warranties, advanced replacement warranties, remote support. All of this is available. And in the rare event that one of the terminals would fail, the advanced replacement warranty is key, because what would happen is you'd be sent a brand new terminal, fully set up the same way, unplug the other one, plug the other one in, the other one gets sent back, and that's it. So your downtime's kept to a minute.
Excellent.
And that's all backed up with support from Panasonic, Hexetech and your local reseller.
From every direction. Just lastly, if a small business wants to go ahead and get a Panasonic terminal installed in their business, how do they go about it? Where do they actually sign up?
Okay, well, they can either call us, the good old-fashioned way of communication, 0844 504 2770, or email us at info@hexetech.com. And then what will happen is we will ask them specific questions they may not even thought of, okay? And we'll try to establish exactly what their needs are going to be. Once we've done that and we've got a better understanding of what their business is, then we will look through our resellers and say, okay, this is the reseller we believe you should be partnered with. Okay. We will then do an introduction to that reseller, so whether it's an email, copying in, introducing and explaining exactly what it is that this new retail business is requiring, and then get the reseller to go down and do a demonstration of it. Yep. Okay, so they can actually see it in a real-time environment. They can play with it, have a look, ask questions. Okay, if in any doubt, they can come back to us again.
Sure.
Okay, and likewise, if there are any resellers out there that are looking to become approved Panasonic partners, they can also call us on the same number or email us at the same address.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Hope that you enjoy the rest of the Business Startup Show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Cheers.